2020 has been an interesting year for laptops. It all started back in January when AMD announced the Ryzen 4000U and 8 series of processors for thin and light and gaming laptops. And then Intel responds back with their 10th gen Comet Lake H series, along with Nvidia announcing their RTX Supermax GPUs. And then fast forward a few months later, Intel announces Tiger Lake, which does claw back a lot of the performance losses of Ice Lake, but it does really improve in gaming. But then again, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And then Apple all of a sudden just comes out with their own silicon chip called the M1, which supposedly offers incredible performance and power efficiency. One of the biggest highlights and challenges this year was actually finding stock of many of the laptops that you guys were looking for. With working from home becoming a new normal these days, things were super tight and it seemed like everyone were just looking for new devices. One of our goals at the beginning of 2020 was to cover more laptops, both thin and light and gaming. We tried our best to cover devices that many of you guys requested, but we weren't able to cover everything. So we decided to collaborate with other creators who've had more experience to chime in with their top 3 picks for 2020. Now, if you're interested in any of these laptops, I'll make sure to leave links down in the description because I'm aware that holiday season is approaching. A lot of you guys might be shopping for new notebooks or new laptops, whatever you call it, that will fit your budget and your needs. So I really hope that this video would be useful for those interested. So let's dive in right after we pay some bills.
Well, look what we have here, the new Fractal Design Meshify 2. No crazy surprises here, just a well thought out and functional case with a new swivel front door to easily remove a dust filter behind the school panel. 3 case fans are included with a fantastic top fan bracket for easy installation of anything outside the enclosure. USB-C adapters will appreciate the I/O and the usual awesome user experience you get with the Fractal. Plus, zero frustration with cable management guaranteed. The Meshify 2, a proper airflow enclosure for your next build. Check it out below.
Alright, so I want to kick things off with some of my top picks for 2020. And the first laptop that sticks out is the ROG Zephyrus G14 from ASUS. This machine was able to deliver fantastic performance with the Ryzen 9 4900HS CPU, and the RTX 2060 Max-Q graphics card was more than capable enough to play 1080p games at buttery smooth frame rates. Not to mention, the display was really good. At 120Hz, it was also able to cover 95% sRGB and 75% DCI-P3. The size was also another amazing factor. It only weighs 3.64 pounds and it's only 0.7 inches thick. It also had great battery life, over 9 hours with light usage. That's ultrabook category, my friends. This laptop also highlights one of the most frustrating things that seem to plague almost every single AMD-based device this year. Finding one was almost impossible, and when it came back to buy, it sold out super quickly, but luckily that's starting to change right now because it is back in stock, at least the last time I checked, so make sure to check the links down below if you're interested in picking that up. Next up is the XPS 13 and XPS 15 from Dell. The XPS series have always been known for offering a premium laptop experience, and this year, Dell just knocked it out of the park. The build quality and design is in a league of its own, guys. I have yet to find a competitor that matches or beats that aspect till now. The display is just beautiful. It's bright and features excellent color accuracy, so it's perfect for creators or photographers on the go. The battery life is also amazing. All in all, this is an excellent option if you're looking for a premium Windows laptop, if you're willing to accept dongle life, because Dell has switched up their ports with USB Type-C, so that is a lifestyle change that you'll have to adapt. Initially, the XPS 15 had a lot of quality control issues with regards to the trackpad, battery, and sound, but the newer batch seems to have addressed that. Now, I've been using the XPS 17 as my daily driver, as you can probably see, and I'm absolutely in love with this machine. Everything from the display, the keyboard, the trackpad, the speakers. It's just a phenomenal laptop, especially for creating content as well. So yeah, XPS series, hands down amazing. Definitely stay tuned for my long-term review of this bad boy very soon. Next up is the Acer Swift 3. This laptop surprised me by a long shot, not because of its mediocre display that everyone complains about, but because of its price point and the rest of the package that Acer offers. For starters, It's a simple and streamlined design throughout the chassis. Acer didn't sacrifice a lot in terms of build quality for $650. It's actually better than some expensive alternatives in the market. The keyboard and trackpad are good enough to get the job done, and the Ryzen 7 4700U is a great performer at multi-core tasks and puts some of Intel's offerings to shame, and you get over 13 hours of battery life under light use. I think this is an excellent option for students, or maybe even a gift for your mom or dad who's looking for something casual. My final pick for 2020 is the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 7, featuring the Ryzen 4000U series from AMD. You see, this was an amazing thin and light laptop that offered great multi-core performance, excellent build quality and design, great battery life, and good quality display. Except, Lenovo decided to discontinue this model and replace it with Intel's Ice Lake chips. It's just really unfortunate, and if you want to hear me rant more about it, you can check out my review right over here. Yeah, it's crazy. So those are my top picks for 2020. Let's now hear from some other creators.
So I'm Matt Moniz, and huge thanks to Hardware Canucks for having me on. You guys asked me what my favorite 13-inch Ultrabooks were for 2020. Now, I don't have a budget pick for 13 inches, but I do have a 14-inch one just because I reviewed mostly 14-inch budget laptops, and that goes to the Acer Swift 3. You know, this is a product that's constantly hovering around $600, sometimes cheaper, especially on Black Fridays, that nets you great performance. Like this AMD CPU inside of here has insane multi-core speeds, and you pair that with over 11 hours of battery life, you just have a very solid product for its price point. The only downfall to this laptop is the display. It's not the most color accurate, but it's more than fine for productivity. The next pick is more of a premium pick, and this goes to the Razer Blade Stealth 13. I just find this to be a very special product. I know it has an Intel CPU, don't beat me up, but it's paired with a dedicated GPU, offering you a lot of performance inside of a 13-inch form factor. You pair that with nice design, a CNC aluminum body, you just have a very beautiful product to use. Now, I thought I'd never say this, but my top pick for best 13-inch Ultrabook is going to the brand new MacBook Air. Like, these M1 chips are unbelievable. The battery life paired with the performance is something I've never seen before, especially when you consider how low powered these CPUs are. If you're looking for a good all-arounder, this is the Ultrabook to get this year, and I truly hope we see stuff like this on the PC side. That wraps up my top picks for best Ultrabooks. Thank you, Hardware Canucks, for having me on.
Hey, I'm Jared from Jared's Tech, and I review a lot of gaming laptops. These are my top 3 picks for best options in 2020. Starting at under $1,000, I've got to give it to the Acer Nitro 5. $670 gets you a 6-core Ryzen 5 4600H processor and NVIDIA GTX 1650 graphics. So you'll be set for gaming at 1080p with low to medium settings. The 60Hz screen doesn't have the best color gamut, and there is some flex to the plastic chassis, but I think these are acceptable trade-offs for a gaming laptop at this price. Moving up to the $1,000 to $1,500 price point, and I've got to say, the Lenovo Legion 5 is easily a slam dunk, despite coming in closer to the lower end of that price range. $1,000 gets us that 8-core Ryzen 7 4800H processor and NVIDIA GTX 1660 Ti graphics, an excellent combination for gaming. But given this is at the lower end of the price range, with a little more budget, you could go up to the RTX 2060 model instead. Though, on average, out of 20 games I've tested, I've only found a 7% extra performance boost by going for the 2060, so depending on the price, that might not be worth it. Either way, the Legion 5 is the best Ryzen gaming laptop I've ever tested. There's just a lot on offer for the price. It performs better than most other Ryzen gaming laptops, as it's got the option of disabling Optimus. It's got the fastest 144Hz screen I've ever tested at 4.6 milliseconds, and that's with FreeSync as well. Battery life is good, keyboard's good, there's just not much to complain about. And of course, the performance from that 8-core Ryzen chip is on another level in multi-core workloads compared to more expensive Intel options. Now, there's of course a lot of choice when we get into the $1,500 plus price range, but I think the best option available is a Tongfang chassis, and that's one of the ones that Dave2D says are for the sweaty laptop nerds. It's sold as the Mech 15 G3 from Electronics in the US, or the Neo 15 from XMG in Europe, which is is what I've got here. And for around $1,700 with RTX 2070 graphics, it gets almost everything right. The build quality feels excellent, it performs better than most others with the same specs, thermals are great, you can disable Optimus to get a performance boost in games, it's got Thunderbolt and SD card slot, mechanical keyboard, large battery, and decent screen. Unfortunately, there's no FreeSync or G-Sync here, but I feel the other positives outweigh this. And it's going to be one of the first laptops available with the new 1440p 165Hz screens. I know some of you won't like to hear that it's Intel based, but the fact is, an 8-core i7 still does very well in games. And the unfortunate fact is that in 2020, we just don't have AMD based laptops with above RTX 2060 graphics anyway. Anyway, those are my picks. Let me know what you thought.
So I hope you enjoyed this one, and if there's one thing that we've learned this year, it's the fact that there is stiff competition out there from both Intel and AMD. From a CPU standpoint, AMD has the edge. There is no room for Intel to breathe. But having taken a look at Ryzen notebooks this year, we do see a lot of potential with these devices. And it's unfortunate to see many manufacturers sort of playing it too safe by pricing these Ryzen laptops at a lower price point, because they do sacrifice on features like pairing it with a faster GPU. I mean, the fastest you can see right now is an RTX 2060. You can't really find a Ryzen notebook with an RTX 2080 Super Max-Q GPU. Now, there are some amazing examples out there like the Asus TUF A15, which has great performance, but it has a terrible display and the cooling could be a lot better. Then there's a Dell G5 15SC, which has an exterior design that's from something like 10 years ago, and it's lackluster build quality. And then there's the MSI Bravo 15, which has a lot of quality control issues. Meanwhile, the 4000U series ended up facing delays that meant really limited availability until pretty late in the year. So I really hope to see that change in 2021. We know that Zen 3 is going to be rolled out into notebooks. I can't wait to see what that can offer. Also, I'd love to see better quality webcams, less sacrifices, more inventory. That would be a win-win for everybody. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay safe, my friends, and spend responsibly.